Hello all, is all here, back with another video. Today we're spotlighting Tablo, the Dice Magician. We're going to go through what runes to equip him. We're going to go through best team comps and what stones to go for. Without further ado, let's crack on to what his attack does. Okay, so for his attack, he rolls 2 dice to attack all the enemies and grants deceleration 1. If the sum of the numbers is 7 or above, he additionally grants acceleration 1 to your team. If the sum is 7, you get the card back minus 2 mana cost. So instead of 3, he'll be 2. So that is what his attack is. So moving on to team comps now. So even though Tablo is definitely one to stand on his own 2 legs because of the dice roll and number 7 giving you the card back, making sure you keep putting deceleration and acceleration on your team. He's got a couple of other partners which would be really good. So you've got Poseidon, who also does 2 deceleration plus the spell card Chill to freeze the enemies, or you've got Ganymede, who also decelerations the enemy but also burns cards. So those 2 definitely are a good matchup for speed control of the game. So with that being said, now let's move on to early game. If you're lucky enough to get Tablo, what runes to put for him. So let's move over to early game. Okay, so into early game then. The runes that I would put on would be Fatal, because this gives him 15% extra attack. Now as you can see, looking at his stats, he is a fairly attacking monster and he attacks all 8 people on the field. So given that extra bit of attack, plus if you land a 7 you get his card back at 1 mana cost, you can hit his attack again. So I think early game, Fatal rune is the one you want to go for. And if you're also lucky enough early game to get his green stone, that just increases damage further by an extra 15%. So early game, green stone and Fatal is what you want. Let's move on. Okay, swinging into that now, more important mid game. The runes that I would go for is sticking with Fatal, which gives you the 15% extra attack because he has quite attacking monster, and accuracy, or the focus rune, which gives you 30% accuracy, so you can land more of the deceleration 1 on your enemies. Now I'd make sure you start moving all these to purple runes as quick as possible, and I would just make sure you have accuracy, attack and crit rate on some of the substats on there, just so you're maximising the full potential of Tablo. Now if you're lucky enough to get the purple stone mid game, now this grants 1 mana to you if the sum of the numbers is odd, and also burns 1 mana if the sum is even, as well as it's doing its normal attack with acceleration and deceleration. Now in my opinion this is the better stone than the green one, just because it gives you mana and it has a possibility of burning their mana, so you have the mana advantage. So that's why I believe that it is a better stone than the green ones, which you need to equip. So heading on to the late game. Okay, landing at late game then, the runes that you now want to equip Tablo is the Violent rune. This gives you 30% chance to hit the card returning, and Focus, which gives you 30% accuracy, so making sure that you can get off as many attacks as possible, and also making sure you land deceleration. The reason I go for Violent is that if you don't get a 7, there's still a chance to get the card back, and he's only 3 mana, so he's not expensive, and if you do get a 7 you get him back as 1. So it's just making sure that the enemy team is always on slowed, as this gives you the mana advantage in the battles, and accuracy, just making sure that obviously the higher you've got, the more deceleration will land on the enemy. Obviously now you're upgrading all of them to legendary stones. Again, I'll just make sure you've got some crit rate on there, some accuracy, just so that you have a higher chance of critting on all 8 enemies and landing the deceleration. Now if you're lucky enough to get Tablo's legendary stone, what this does, it burns all mana of you and the enemy, and it is guaranteed a 7. So there is a cooldown on this, but basically essentially what it does is burns everyone's mana, puts you on acceleration, them on deceleration, so you've got the mana advantage, so you can either play or counter a card first. This is by far its best stone. It's the most annoying stone for many comps out there at the minute, so this is the one you want to go for. And that's all the runes for now. Okay, so just summarising then, you now know the runes for Tablo for early, mid and late game. You also know what stones to use and what team comps to use him in. I mean, if you've got any team comps that I've missed out or you use, by all means please leave a comment down below. I love hearing all your stories and what you suggest. And give us a like again if you do like this content, it truly is awesome to me. And subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going for all 63 monsters in this game. I've done over 30 of them already, so please check them out if you want any help on Rune's characters. And most importantly, thank you for watching. Until next time.